So there's a new mayor in Lynn Haven. Jesse Nelson's out. He's gone. And the Lynn Haven City Commission voted 4-0 to fill the vacancy with Dr. Dave Lowery. So he is the mayor, and there'll be a swearing-in ceremony. There was a little bit of drama at the Lynn Haven Commission, but it was almost a 3-1 vote. Sam Peebles was teetering. Peebles was teetering. I'll tell you who surprised me, and that's Pat Perno. Pat Perno was strong in support of Dave Lowery. This was one of Pat Perno's best meetings. Peebles wasn't there. He did it via Zoom or whatever, by phone, whatever it was. But the real story is what happened this morning at the TDC / it was a joint meeting, TDC Visit Panama City Beach. And it seemed eventful, but really what happened there was more theatrical. Dan Rowe, he is on a leave of absence. And I'll explain a little bit about that. But I was there. I shot these pictures today. The attorney is son Cole Davis. He was sitting there with Dan Rowe. And I'm going to show you something. This will be a fairly short show, but I'm going to break down what happened today. It was unbelievable. And there's no video. They don't do video streams of the meetings, but I did go up and make public comments, and I took my own video. You will not believe it. I'll show it to you. But first, let me thank our sponsors, and I'll get right to it.
Strong, effective leadership. 3 words that could mean the difference between prison and your freedom. I'm Al Saulene, your Panama City Beach lawyer. 850-215-0628.
Don't let back pain and neck pain get you down. Find relief at Brown Chiropractic Center on St. Andrews Boulevard in Panama City. Dr. Sherry Brown helps people heal naturally with chiropractic adjustments and deep tissue massage. Call 769-3777.
So I'm going to show the video twice. I'm going to show it right now, and then I will show it after I give you some analysis. So I go up there and I say, I only have 3 minutes. I don't want to ask you all questions because I'm sure I won't get answers. Instead, here's what I'll do. I think you're going to love this. I said, I'm going to make a series of statements. I think it will save everybody time if you just admit or deny the statements. If you do not correct me, and if you do not deny them, I'm going to assume I'm accurate. All right. But if you correct me, then I'll make sure to get it right. And evidently, my assertions were all correct because none of the board members, nobody denied or corrected me. So I'm going to break it down for you. But here is the last half, about a minute and a half, 3 minutes, the last half of my public comments. Wait till you see how scared Dan Rowe is. And Cole Davis, the attorney, ought to be scared too.
What account, the only question I'm going to ask is what account was that American Express card attached to? What is the business name? It's unnamed on the arrest affidavit. What financial institution is that business account attached to, that American Express attached to? Is it really Dan Rowe's company? Is Dan Rowe really the victim, as it states in the arrest affidavit? And is there $4.1 million remaining in this account that was attached to the American Express card? Man, this is quite amazing. I understand that you bring in about $60 million per year. I understand that you have $100 million in an untouchable reserve account. I'm forgetting some of my other points. Oh, here's one. The CVB, the nonprofit, is allowed, according to its charter, to fund private companies that further the mission of advancing tourism. I'm going to be reporting that the American Express card is attached to one of these companies that is unnamed until you correct me or deny it. And I'm happy to report whatever you tell me is true. Thank you very much.
Wow. So did you see Cole Davis when I said I think there are several accounts? Some of them are private businesses, nonprofits. And the particular account that I think that the American Express card is attached to has $4.1 million left in there. I said, correct me if I'm wrong, so I can be right. Did you see when I said that? Did you see the attorney's reaction? Does Dan Rowe look like somebody who's done nothing wrong? All right. Let me and the post below this is where you'll find this. I want to make sure I get it just precise. So, by the way, here are a couple of other pictures. That's Dan Rowe sitting next to Cole Davis, and that is TDC board member Mike Jarman. And I was sitting back there shooting pictures. Okay, here is let's see. I thought I had a picture of. Let's see, is this it? No, that's the same one. Geez, I wanted to show you Yanni Petronis because Yanni Petronis, he stepped down as treasurer today. So I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm going to step aside for transparency and public trust. And this is who they chose to be the treasurer. He's a banker and he's on the board, Jeff De Benedictis. He had that face the whole time. And he's the new treasurer as of today. Yanni didn't leave the board. He just, Yanni Petronis, Congressman Jimmy Petronis, his brother, he just simply said, I don't want to be the treasurer anymore. And let's see. Yep, this was pretty much the face etched into Dan Rowe all day. He volunteered to take a leave of absence, and they were going to give him a paid leave of absence. But one thing that I thought was, I'm going to say strong, but it was a step up, and that was by Panama City Beach City Councilman Ethan Register, also on the board of the TDC. He said, I'm not really comfortable with you having paid leave. All right. So how about you use your, what is it called? Paid time off. Burn up that paid time off, but don't take a paid leave. He said, I wouldn't be comfortable with that. So that was about as strong as it got in here. Okay. All right. I think I've shown you, golly, I really, if I can pull it up real quick, I'll show you a photo of the former treasurer, Yanni Petronis. Doesn't look like oh, I do have it. All right, I'm gonna show you a picture of Yanni. He was stressed out too. Here he is. That's the treasurer. So he's friends with the defendant, with I didn't put a picture. He's friends with the defendant, Aaron Lee, who Sheriff Ford says stole $1 million with 1,000 transactions of American Express card. And the treasurer didn't notice it. Over a year, 1,000 transactions. He did not notice it, but he's not the treasurer anymore. So let me read to you exactly what happened, because I think this will be the cleanest way for me to do it for you. I posted a whole bunch of pictures. If you want to go to the post below, you'll see a whole bunch of pictures. So, President Dan Rowe took a paid leave of absence. That's not exactly right. I should have said it better. He took leave, but it's not paid leave. All right. He's using his what do they call it again? I always forget. Time off pay. Yanni Petronas stepped down as treasurer. This is all just ceremonial, and I'll tell you why. Because of this part. Financial management was turned over to Comptroller Bill Kinsall, who went there, and he was one of the first to speak. And he said, I think you should make a resolution that I take over oversight of the TDC from here on out. And all the TDC board members and the president were like, hell yeah, please take it. They emphasized that nobody did anything wrong, though, except for Aaron Lee, who they emphasized acted alone. But here's the weird thing, and nobody said this yet. This is why this was all ceremonial, because Bill Kinsall is the clerk of court, county clerk of court, but he's also the comptroller. He missed all this. I am hearing, and I'm going to ask for public records to find out. Do you think I'll get them? I'm hearing he just didn't check the receipts for 6 months. Some think it's more than a year. So really, ultimately, the buck stops with the comptroller. The county created the TDC, which is an oversight and advisory board. And the TDC oversees the nonprofit, which is the Convention and Visitors Bureau, or they also call it Visit Panama City Beach. That's a nonprofit. So I said that the nonprofit, I keep asking, what account is that American Express card attached to? Because Sheriff Ford is calling it a company that Dan Rowe owns. So they did not correct me, but after the meeting, I did ask Cole Davis, and I'll play it for you because I recorded it. It was during press interviews. And I asked him, I said, hey, Cole, quick question. It was after the meeting in the chambers. I said, what that American Express card that was used, what business is it attached to? And Cole Davis very quickly said, the CVB. Visit Panama City Beach, Bernie. And I said, really? But see, there are a whole bunch of accounts. What do you mean the CVB? I said, can I get the last 4 numbers of the card? Cole said, no. I said, can I get any document? Can I see any single document, public record, that shows that credit card? Who's the holder of that credit card? Who pays that credit card? And what business is it attached to? Because it's not said in the arrest report. Cole said, it's just the CVB. It's just the CVB. Look, as this story continues, I'm going to show you what I mean. They have a whole bunch of accounts. They have and again, when I play this again, watch Cole's face. They have a safety account with like $4 million. And in the safety account, they give Dan Rowe, this is crazy. Dan Rowe, the president of the TDC, gives Sheriff Ford's office a whole bunch of money. The TDC gives Sheriff Ford's office a whole bunch of money. And some of that pays for all these flock cameras. So Sheriff Ford is investigating his benefactor? Doesn't make sense. It just doesn't make sense to me. And then the guy, the comptroller who messed up the most, he comes in and he says, I'll take it over. Here, watch the video one more time. Watch Cole Davis, the attorney, when I say, I think there's $4.1 million left in that account after $1 million was stolen.
What account, the only question I'm going to ask is what account was that American Express card attached to? What is the business name? It's unnamed on the arrest affidavit. What financial institution is that business account attached to, that American Express attached to? Is it really Dan Rowe's company? Is Dan Rowe really the victim, as it states in the arrest affidavit? And is there $4.1 million remaining in this account that was attached to the American Express card? Man, this is quite amazing. I understand that you bring in about $60 million per year. I understand that you have $100 million in an untouchable reserve account. I'm forgetting some of my other points. Oh, here's one. The CVB, the nonprofit, is allowed, according to its charter, to fund private companies that further the mission of advancing tourism. I'm going to be reporting that the American Express card is attached to one of these companies that is unnamed until you correct me or deny it. And I'm happy to report whatever you tell me is true. Thank you very much.
Why does Dan Rowe look so scared? One of the craziest parts of the whole meeting is, well, let me read to you so I can be precise before I go on and on. So none of them today at the meeting could figure out how Aaron Lee made 1,000 transactions for $1 million over the past year. They couldn't figure that out. Now, I still think there's an account that they're not telling us about. But Cole Davis, the attorney, said, it's just a CVB account, Bernie. It's just a CVB account. But that's even harder to believe because everybody has access to that. On a nonprofit, everybody has access to that, especially the treasurer and the comptroller. See, the TDC hired Aaron Lee, are you ready for this? In 2024 to be the fraud czar. They brought him in to make sure that there would be no fraud in the TDC and to oversee the accounting. That's why they brought Aaron Lee in. Dan Rowe issued him a business, according to the affidavit, the arrest affidavit. As soon as he comes in, here, Aaron Lee, here's a business American Express Platinum card. And they praised Aaron Lee until 9 days ago. But here's the thing. Just 1 year before they hired him, just 1 year before Dan Rowe and Yanni Petronas hired Aaron Lee, American Express National Bank sued Lee for owing more than $60,000. And Treasurer Yanni Petronas knew about it, but still recommended Lee to come in and be the fraud czar. The same board members this morning, that hired Aaron Lee, the same people up there, they assured the public, they said, from now on, boy, we are really upset about this. They said, from now on, more with the nonprofit, more than one person is going to reconcile the money from here on out, okay? We're going to take drastic measures. I mean, that is crazy, right? You weren't doing that before? So Aaron Lee in 2023, it's rhyming. American Express National Bank sues him because he owes him $60-some thousand. Yanni Petronis is his friend, knows about it, and other things that I'm not going to tell you yet. But they all know Aaron Lee, as Sheriff Ford said, is a con man. They all knew. And the next year they hire him, almost like a poke in the eye, like we can do whatever we want, man. We can do whatever we want. The news is going to tell you what we want the news to tell you. We're going to write the arrest report to make Dan Rowe look like a victim. Larry Bassford's, I know the prosecutor there. Remember all that? You're fixing to find out how we do it in Bay County. Remember all that? And then the judges. So let me read you the last part here. Now, the TDC gets about $60 million annually in bed taxes and other revenue. Bernie, what other revenue? Well, the fees that they charge like Seabreeze. Damn, I'm rhyming like crazy. The fees they charge Seabreeze and other stuff. So you get like $50 million in bed taxes, and then they get more in other revenue. And they've got the nonprofit can donate to private companies and nonprofits and the sheriff's office, and they do. So now the sheriff's office is investigating its benefactor, the TDC and Dan Rowe, which might explain why Dan Rowe is called the victim, even though he's the president. And Sheriff Ford puts him up there in a place of authority to assure the public, we got this. I don't think you got this. Do you think they have it? Sheriff Ford gets awarded a boatload of money from Dan Rowe every year, including for flock cameras. The sheriff is investigating his own benefactor, but calls Dan Rowe the victim. Conflict of interest? I think it is. The TDC also has, this is important now. Did you see Cole Davis looking over when I mentioned this? A restricted fund balance of $103 million that is kept hush-hush. And so today, the answer that they provide is the first thing that happens is the comptroller, who hasn't been checking the receipts, he's the top of the pyramid on this. He comes in to save the day. I'm taking it away from you guys, and we're going to do it. But you haven't been doing this. Has Bill Kinsall, the comptroller, the clerk of court, has he been communicating with President Dan Rowe over, say, I don't know, since June? Is there any record of the comptroller communicating with the treasurer, Yanni Petronis? I don't know. I'm going to ask for a public record. Bernie, that'll be $1 million. We need to recoup. Okay. Here's another thing. This is big, what I'm going to tell you now. Here's another way that they acted tough, but really, it's really bad. So something like this happened before, okay, like 20 years ago. And or whoever the credit card holder was, they gave the money back to the TDC. And then the credit card holder sued or pressed charges. And that's probably the way that they should go about it now. But instead, see, they're not going to do that. They're not going to do that. And there's reasons why they're not going to do that. We still don't know. We still don't know about the damn account it's connected to. Still. All right. Why am I not? I can't see myself, but it looks like we're still on. Holy smokes. I don't know what's going on. Let me see. I wonder if I put up a, boy, this whole day has been rough for me with technical stuff. Let me try to put up this. Okay, at least that works. I will tell you this. I always say, hey, I always say, I hate when the people, I always say, hey, I don't know, it bugs me. I always say, get your free subscription to my weekly newsletter that I send by email. Okay. It's 20 seconds to get it because you don't want to miss any of my reporting on this. You're going to get every show in a weekly email. Every show, the posts, the documentation that I'm going to be providing, you'll have it all in one place every week. Bernie.substack.com. It is my weekly email newsletter. You can watch the show even if you don't have Facebook. So you can send it to people too that don't have Facebook. All right. So this is a good time, I suppose, to tell you about that. Bernie.substack.com. And I can thank the Unknown Patriot for your support and all of you who send me to these meetings. I knew it. I knew he was getting paid. This is crowdfunding. This is you saying, here, Bernie, here's a tip in the tip jar, $5 a month. Keep going. Thank you to all of you who do at patreon.com/Bernie Thompson. It is anonymous. It's easy. And you can quit at any time. And I'm still not on. Hey, let me ask you, can you see me? Because I can't see me. Probably, yeah. You can, okay, so you can hear me, but I went dark. Okay. That's crazy. I'm back. All right. Perfect timing because I'm done telling you what I was telling you. Do you want to see the video one more time? I'll show you the video one more time. Watch Cole Davis's reaction when I mentioned the other funds, the other accounts, and when I say how much I think is left in the account that was robbed. And tell me if Dan Rowe is just stoic and disciplined, or does he look scared to you?
What account, the only question I'm going to ask is what account was that American Express card attached to? What is the business name? It's unnamed on the arrest affidavit. What financial institution is that business account attached to, that American Express attached to? Is it really Dan Rowe's company? Is Dan Rowe really the victim, as it states in the arrest affidavit? And is there $4.1 million remaining in this account that was attached to the American Express card? Man, this is quite amazing. I understand that you bring in about $60 million per year. I understand that you have $100 million in an untouchable reserve account. I'm forgetting some of my other points. Oh, here's one. The CVB, the nonprofit, is allowed, according to its charter, to fund private companies that further the mission of advancing tourism. I'm going to be reporting that the American Express card is attached to one of these companies that is unnamed until you correct me or deny it. And I'm happy to report whatever you tell me is true. Thank you very much.
Were you lying then? Are you lying now? Or are you not, in fact, a chronic and habitual liar?